And now, views and interviews from the world of technology. Coming up, Sky News Tech Talk with Krista Holloman.
My name is Vince Sollitto, and I'm the head of corporate communications and government affairs at Yelp. Yelp, obviously an international company that connects consumers with great local businesses in their community. Recently went public, so we're a public company now. That was very exciting. And we're growing like by leaps and bounds, and we're currently in 15 countries worldwide.
So how does the service work?
Sure. Yelp provides a platform for consumers to share their experiences with businesses in their community, which then serves as a guide for their fellow neighbors and locals. So if you are looking for a great restaurant, a great doctor, a pet groomer, a salon in your community, instead of having to rely on the advertising copy that businesses write about themselves, you can now rely on the word of mouth that your fellow consumers have written about their experiences with those businesses, and that helps you figure out which business is best for you.
So how are you different from other review services available?
Probably the biggest, there's two main ways that Yelp differentiates itself from other online consumer review services. The first, I think, is an emphasis on community. Yelp is not a drive-by review website where people just join up anonymously, slap down a review, the last review written is put on top, and there's really no controls. Yelp, first and foremost, is a community of reviewers in each city, and we focus both on the offline aspects of that as well as the online aspects. And so we have a community manager in each of our markets who supports and nourishes that community of local writers. And that sense of community brings both a desire to create content in order to help their fellow consumers, and also an accountability and a level of honesty that we believe is nurtured because of that. The second big differentiator for Yelp is that we take content integrity very seriously. We want to make sure we only show useful information for consumers, and we do a very aggressive job of filtering out content that we don't have a high enough degree of confidence in, to make sure that consumers aren't misled by folks trying to game the system, or perhaps by a business's competitors trying to be nefarious.
So how would you police or control that I don't write good reviews about my own restaurant?
Sure. Well, obviously we can't tell you exactly how we do it, because then it would defeat the purpose. And as you can imagine, it's a bit of a cat and mouse game. As consumer reviews become so important on the web, consumers really are turning to them almost as their #1 resource for finding a great local business online, and Yelp's a big reason for that. The stakes have gotten quite high for businesses, and so there's ever-increasing efforts by some businesses, some bad apples, to game the system and goose their ratings. And because of that, we have to have these filtering techniques in place. They're algorithmic based. As consumers write reviews for us, they provide a lot of information about themselves willingly, and all of that wealth of information helps us weed through our review content and figure out which we should show and which we shouldn't.
How do you know when you read a review that is relevant for yourself? What if my mother and me have different opinions about the same local restaurant?
That's actually another great thing about Yelp, and another key differentiator is that Yelp reviews are not anonymous. Yelp reviews are written by users who have profiles on our site. And so if you see a review about a particular business and you wonder whether or not you and that reviewer share similar tastes, you can click on that reviewer's profile and learn more information about that person. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What is their review average? Are they a negative Nelly, or do they generally only write 5-star reviews? Do they only review restaurants, and this was an out-of-the-woods experience at a pet shop, for instance? So we not only give you consumer reviews, but we give you information about the writer as well.
I see any statistics suggesting that people are more inclined to review when they've had a bad experience versus a good experience.
That's a common misperception about consumer reviews on the internet. Folks think, oh, people only write reviews when they want to complain. In fact, we've found exactly the opposite at Yelp. In fact, at Yelp, about 80%, or 4 out of 5 reviews, are 3 stars or higher. In other words, good reviews. And it kind of makes sense. Consumers do a decent job of avoiding bad experiences in their everyday life. And many folks at Yelp treat Yelp not so much as a place to write a review only when they've had a really good or a really bad experience, but really more as an ongoing lifestyle blog, which kind of chronicles all of their experiences throughout their day, many of which are good, some of which are great, and a few of which are not so good.
And how do you make your money?
Very simply, search advertising is our primary vehicle. Just like Google sells search advertising on top of results, so do we. So if you're looking for the best salon in a certain neighborhood in London, we'll show you the 10 best salons in that neighborhood as rated by our customers, and then we'll go ahead and sell a search ad on top of that. And so if you're not number 10, you're number 11, you might want to buy an ad.
And what's your plans for the future? What's the next big thing for Yelp?
Sure. Well, as with any internet company, I think mobile is becoming a huge focus, and Yelp is no exception. We're seeing a tremendous transition to mobile. In fact, about 40% of all the searches done on Yelp are now done on mobile devices. We have a very popular application for Yelp for iPhone, Android, and other devices. And mobile is certainly the wave of the future. And it makes a lot of sense because consumers now have the power of 27 million reviews from around the globe in their back pocket. And whenever they're out and about, they can search for anything on their phone.
Sky News Tech Talk, in association with First Tuesday, the UK's largest network for high-growth technology companies and their investors. For free membership, visit firsttuesday.org.uk.